What's going on, top producer? Today we are going to discuss how to make prospecting one of the hardest things that real estate agents do easier for you in your business. But before we do that, I'm gonna need you to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so we can continuously bring this content to you every Tuesday and Friday for the freest of 99s. All right, so when it comes to prospecting, we know that it's not a very attractive thing. It's not something we want to do. It's not something that juices us usually, right? There's certain animals and crazy people among us that are completely okay with just going to door and hustling right off the bat. But for most of us, the idea of prospecting is as appealing as like eating sand and down on the bottom of the totem pole of things we prefer to be doing on our Monday through Friday, right? But it's something that we need to master or need to get better at if we want to be successful as a real estate agent, because the bigger your sphere of influence, the better your business and the healthier your business is going to become, and it will allow you to get to your goals of financial freedom and having that life that you dreamed of, or that Mercedes or that Lambo, whatever, a lot quicker than if you're just kind of sitting on the near your phone waiting for it to ring. Okay, so this applies to all prospecting. So whether you're door knocking, cold calling, going to networking events, so on and so forth, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It just matters that you're doing it, right? So we're going to talk about three things that are going to help you. I picked up a lot of these things from a book called Atomic Habits, which is a highly recommended book that I think that everybody, including real estate agents, especially real estate agents, should read in order to really hone in on creating habits that are going to lead to your success or lead to the future self that you really want to create. Okay, so the first thing that's going to help you in your prospecting journey or making prospecting a lot easier is following the 1% rule, right? So one mistake that I feel that a lot of real estate agents made, I made myself, is that New Year's hits, or you're starting your business and you're like, I'm gonna do 150 cold calls, or I'm gonna door knock 100 doors today, right? And then you go out and you hit maybe 10 with momentum, and then you lose momentum, and then by door 20 you're like, I can't do this anymore. Or you'll do 30 doors or even reach that 100, but then you'll never door knock again, right? Or you won't door knock for another month or something, right? What we have to do is create a lasting habit and find joy in the process of actually doing it, right? I know we want the end result of the listing presentation, but we have to really build up those muscles. Like, for example, you're not going to deadlift 350 pounds after never working out, right? I know you want to get there, but you can't just pick up 350 pounds just willy-nilly, right? You're going to hurt yourself, right? So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to build that up. So we want to find out where our tolerance is. So maybe you only can lift 50 pounds right now, right? And then we're going to start upping that by 1% every time. And by 36 times, that 1% is 36% more, right? Over a year, that's 365% more, right? So in a year, you're gonna be at 150 pounds, right? If you follow the 1% rule, right? However, 1% rarely stays at 1%, is what I'm saying, right? So you might say, oh, I'm gonna knock on 10 doors today, and then while you're out the next day, I'm only going for 11 today. But you might let me do 12, right? While you're out there, sometimes that's just going to lead into momentum. If you're having a good day, you might push a little further, right? And then that 1% starts compounding on top of it, and now you have the compounding effect, and you become a beast at door knocking, or a beast at cold calling, or a beast at attending these events or running open houses, so on and so forth, right? You're going to get 1% better every day. So that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is you have to make it easy. All right, if you try to do something that's very, very hard, I feel like naturally as human beings we tend to be a lot, we want things to be done easier, right? That's why we're always looking for the magic pill. We're looking for the magic lead source. It's something that we don't have to really work so hard for, right? But if we make it easy in our lives, or for example, let's say you're a buyer's agent with the aspirations of becoming a listing agent, right? One thing you might want to do in order to start generating those seller leads where you can start compounding that 1% is, let's say you're doing a showing, right? You're going out for a showing. Show up 20-30 minutes early to that showing, and then door knock around that one block that you're checking out. Especially if you're in New York, that's a lot easier because everything is a lot denser, right? But maybe you door knock the 5 houses around like a listing, right? Because people who tend to see a listing, they might be like, oh, what is that going for, right? And now you can have these conversations, right? And you're going to be doing that showing anyway. You're already heading out, so now you're using your net time as potential, income making time, right? So making it easy for yourself and finding these little things that can, make it a little smoother for you is always a good idea, right? I highly recommend it. If you're do something like, I think it's called temptation bundling or something like that. I'm not 100% sure what he calls in the book, but I know for a fact that if you make it easier for yourself, you're going to do a lot better, right? Which leads us to number 3, which is making it fun and attractive, right? So I know when you think about cold calling, it doesn't sound fun or attractive. In fact, it actually sounds the opposite, right? But if you can, if you can find a way to make it fun or make it more enjoyable, things are going to get a lot better, right? So for example, one thing I used to do on my follow-up days when I wanted to follow up with my whole book of business, which was about 200 people at one point, right? What I do is I'm gonna make calls to all 200 of those people, right? How can I make that more enjoyable? What I would do is I would go to the driving range with one of my friends, and we would just hit golf balls, and in between each swing, I would just make a call, right? And I would have my headphones in, and I would just be swinging and doing my thing while I was making these calls, or I would have my auto dialer making the calls while I was doing that. That was one thing that I did that made, calling a lot easier, a lot more fun, right? The second thing that I would do too is, when you're calling in your dark apartment, because I had an apartment in Queens, New York, and it was very dark and gloomy. When you're calling from that environment, it's just not conducive to anyone's health or mental health, right? So for what I would do is, there was this cafe in Long Island City that had a view of Manhattan. And what I would do is sometimes I would go to a bench that was right next to this cafe, and I would use their Wi-Fi while making calls, and I would have this beautiful view. And it made things so much easier to do. It made like the rejection and all that stuff just melt away, because it's like, I'm here in this beautiful view, I'm drinking good coffee, and life is a lot easier and better when you're doing something that you need to do and you're kind of connecting that with something that you want to do, right? I actually think that's what's called temptation bundling. So those are 3 things that you can do to make prospecting a lot easier. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And just a reminder, this is brought to you by Design for Agents, an e-commerce geared to making sure you have what you need to succeed. You can buy hoodies like this, and you can also pick up our best-selling Agent Planner Pro, which honestly I think is the best planner on the real estate market right now. And that's not just because I'm a co-founder of the company, right? Like it's the only planner that comes with the course. Go check it out. The link is in the description. And with that being said, guys, make prospecting as easy and attractive as possible, and it'll become a lot easier, and it'll become a habit. To one point, you're just going to be doing it just because that's what you do on a daily basis. So there you have it, guys. That's how to make it a habit in a nutshell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios. Bye.